So we're back with another Let's Improve game, so let's have a quick look at what we're actually looking at. We're looking at a 2v2 arena, and I am not a hardcore arena player myself, so some things I say might not be as valid because of that. I have played a bit in my time, was more towards probably when I first started on Voobly though, and then I kind of just started playing lots of Arabia because I like the faster play style. So, let's have a look. In the blue, we have the Tormentor, who actually sent the game in. On his team, we have Jimmy, and actually Jimmy playing as the Celts. Over here, the blue, we have Goths. Yellow will be their opponent's team, which is Huns. And orange as well, playing as Teutons, but we're not going to pay much attention to them because we are focusing on Tormentor. So this is a series I've always wanted to do a lot on, so let's talk about a few things really quickly that we've already seen happen. Houses, two at the same time, good standard kind of thing that everyone does. Closer they are, the better, because of course you can get them up without getting population blocked, which is really important, especially if you get the black screen at the start, which I get until about, I think it's like 6 or 7 seconds in, and then I can do whatever I want. So if I put the houses too far away, I get population blocked. So that's a really interesting one to look at. Always reset your gather points as well. You don't want too many villagers on the wrong thing. Before as well, we did see a villager get created and just stand here again, put it straight onto something, because of course that villager does need to be doing something, or it's equivalently it just doesn't exist. So let's have a look right now. Looks like we're going for quite a standard, because we do have a 6 on sheep already, and it looks like we're going to wood now, so nothing too crazy about this. Of course, forcing drop-offs to keep those villagers in production. And I should say as well, this game is probably 1.6k, rated 1.55 maybe. Depends really on how you look at it. Are the scores refreshed? Or there we go, refreshing the scores. Now, this is the thing I really want to talk about here. Eco-management is probably one of the biggest things at this level of game. If you have a good eco-management system, you're probably going to beat most 1.6k players. Just because of facts like this, when you could have these villagers under the town centre, auto dropping off, it just makes so much of a difference. And as well here, we can see going for a lot actually on food. He hasn't started wood gathering yet. Has deleted off this back wall though because he doesn't need it, so now, there's a few really interesting things to look. I have done probably the standard build-up. I believe this is actually going to be a 22 pop-up. I've briefly looked at this game. So, probably following that standard Arabia probably setup would probably be the best way to go, because then as well you can get your, well, like 1030 up and keep playing out of there instead of a later up, because of course you're going to need a few more resources there. He'll just get down his gold mine or whatever he actually wants to go for, gold mine, mill, lumber camp, whatever he decides to go for. He'll only get the 2 down there, and he's still going to be population blocked after 15. So he either is going to have to need to send some villagers off to gather wood really quickly, or get a lumber camp or something up really quickly. So there's a lot of villagers on wood now, on food, sorry, not what we're looking at. So let's speed things along here. No villager queued as well. Queuing villagers. At this stage in the game, really important to always be creating a villager. Town center should never be idled until, well, you're either researching with your town center, advancing in age, or creating villages until you have like 110 pop on just villagers. That's pretty much the standard there. Unless of course you've got a few fishing ships and things out. In that case, we can let that slide a little bit. But this sheep placement here is probably one of the biggest things that's going wrong here, because of course they do have to walk back to the town center. They'll walk back to here, and they will have to be taken back again. So that's an interesting one there. If you can, sheep under the town centre and 1 sheep at a time with 6 villages is generally the standard play. So that's how things are generally done. If we actually look, he's at nearly 5 minutes in, hasn't got his lumber camp up. So there we go, actually now. So I'm really interested to know if this build's actually going to pay off, if he's doing it on purpose or not. But we are seeing a lot of idle time with the villagers, and like I've said, this economy management is something you really need to work on at this kind of area in your rating. So, village there, and there as well, that's had the pop block there for a second, which I was talking about, and still hasn't got his mill or gold camp up, and he's only just about to lure his boar now after finishing off all those sheep. Actually, let's check the exploration. Looks like it was played on explored, so we're not going to be able to check that actually. Over here as well, luring boar, you lure them all the way back to the town centre, and under there. Just like this is here, just because they stand up and get rid of the food immediately. which really helps. And this raises another point actually as well. Lots of people actually do this when watching Rex at the start. They try and what's probably the way, emulate things. That's probably a good word to use. Without knowing why they're doing them. Like actually probably a lot of people put 6 villages on a sheep and don't know why. So that's kind of the thing there. Understanding why you're doing things is a massive thing in this game as well. Something you really need to understand to do well. So when we look at this, villages aren't under the town centre because they're not dropping off straight away. We are seeing this as well. Gather points, so important. If you set it over here, it'll immediately walk to the tree and you won't have that idle time there. Idle time is exactly what you want to be cutting down on, which is it's also important in this game. Another thing as well, when playing 2v2, it's essentially played, I know this from Arabia, just things, but it's generally played as 2 1v1s on the same map, essentially. That's what I see most of the time. So, I don't know if it's exactly the same with Arena. I have seen a few 2v2s Arena. It's generally kind of played in the same way, but like I said, I don't have the most experience in Arena, so could just be the games I've seen that have worked out like this. Lots of idle villagers still here. Should be chopping trees or something. It looks like that ball's only just about to come in. And also, I'll be speeding it up in the late game, because this is really what we want to be paying attention to now. Like we can see, all these idle villagers here, only a few on wood, could have a few on gold by now, could have a few on farms, could have a few on these berries even. And there we go, mill's actually going up now. The placement's actually quite good. Maybe I would have put it there, or like right there maybe. Probably there would have been my preferred place. But anyway, punching that hole in the wall, of course, meaning you're going to have to put another house up. And actually, in the title of this game, when I got it, it was actually said 2v2 Arena Flush. And as soon as I saw that, I was really concerned, because naturally flushing on Arena generally isn't how it's played, which is interesting. There's only a few times you can actually get away with flushing. One being, of course, if you get that gate open and stick a scout under it. Number 2 being, of course, if they've deleted a piece of wall and haven't rebuilt a wall behind it like that. So that's always an interesting one to have there. And what are we seeing? 22 pop. And as we can see, it doesn't have a lot of food actually available now. But if he was doing this under the town centre, he would have been able to start dropping off that boar meat a lot quicker and probably would be up by now. So we could have shaved a few seconds off there as well. So we are going to see quite a late uptime for a 22 pop here. And you really need, like I said, the economy at this stage is really what defines players' levels. You really need to have a good economy, and you need to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. That's the thing. You need to understand why you're doing certain things. Don't just grab a recorded game, look at it and go, alright, this is what I should be doing. You need to, you can get pretty far on that. I'm not going to say you're going to do badly, but understanding it allows you to kind of twist it and warp the build a bit, just so you can do what you want to do. So let's speed things along here, because we're going up to feudal age. Nothing really crazy going on. I wish I could see the fog of war, but we can't. So, important things to note. Economy management, really important. Standard builds, kind of important. I know some people won't disagree that there's kind of standard builds, but when I say standard, I just mean the general 22 pop-up kind of strategy thing. Moving forward with 5 villages now. This is actually a lot of villages to move forward with, which is interesting. And this is quite interesting. Actually, I have seen this in Arena a few times, especially when you get these gaps in the walls here. But that's the thing. And the other thing is here as well, Tormentor and Jimmy are going to attack the same person here, which can be really bad, because this is going to allow Orange over here to do whatever the hell he wants, and from then on, he's going to be pretty much sieged, or he can just essentially do whatever he wants without any fear of being attacked. So I would like to think if Red actually came over here and jumped in, could have been a lot more damaging. But still, we'll see how this pays off here. And actually saying that, we're going to keep this town centre selected, because we want to make sure he's constantly producing villagers. So the tower goes up. For those who don't know this trick, if you've got a piece of wall, say like this here, if you put a tower in there, you can jump villagers across it. Pretty simple. And it looks like we've actually got yellow over here walling his opponent's gates, which is quite interesting. But here we go, moving in with these villages here, going to drop a barracks and an archery range. Probably should have dropped the barracks while he was in Dark Age, just so he could go straight for that range. Really important thing there, because of course that's going to really cut down on the time, and of course this will go up for this one over here, and he's still going to need to put another archery range down, so that tower is going to be putting out a lot of damage. However, if he did already have that archery range out, he could be getting archers out over here and starting to harass this tower already. Really important thing there. So, watching this town centre still, I'm liking having this down in the bottom here, and I wish I could hotkey, that'd be nice. Actually, can you hotkey in Rex? I can, nice. Alright. Yeah, I didn't really know 100% on that, so that's an interesting thing there. But still, we can keep watching this town centre, and there needs to be a constant village production still. It's not like you're going for a massive all-in right now, and putting all your resources towards it. You could have another villager on the way right now, which is something really important. You've got to constantly have that villager just going. And I know you're busy in your opponent's base at the moment, but this is where most people fall down. They spend too much time over here looking at what they're doing, and not enough at their own base. Like, we're actually in view lock right now, and I believe, yeah, we're moving slightly, so we are in view lock. And we can actually see where he's clicking, trying to take out this village over here. We might sit here for a while, actually, and I'm going to open this town centre, because this is a problem lots of people have, and is kind of the way they think, in my opinion, or the way I used to think. It was, you'd be up here watching this, and your theory would be, I am going to be the best microer the world has ever seen. I am going to kill everything. And you're over here, and you win the battle, whatnot, you come back to your base, and all your farms are gone, there's gold miners just standing there because they have nothing to mine, no one left on the bushes over here, and you have your army over here, but your economy is absolutely wrecked, and your opponent just runs in with a bunch of hussars and kills you. That happens a lot. That's something you can't really start doing either. Over here, give your command, move back to your base, check that, move over here, because right now, the only things you really have going on, let's actually check is he still here. So right now, there's not a lot going on. Honestly, you could be over at your town center checking that. Is there any villages? No villages still. You could be over there checking things like that. And of course, this is my opinion, it's just the way I play, that I'm only 1.8. So, which is actually the reason I hate giving big advice like this, but still, probably a lot higher than most people, because they are out there. I'm going to actually do another big session soon, like I did last time, and we'll see how high I get. Looking forward to that. But still, the pressure over here is good. But Orange is going unopposed over here. It's not like he's the best player in the world, but still, anyone going unopposed is really dangerous to go up against, because of course he can imp right up and pretty much kill you off straight away. But over here, the play is decent, I would say. He's putting the pressure on well. Spears are doing okay over here. Could be useful trying to put a tower up here so we can try and kill this one off quicker. Because of course, as we know, spears do crap all, because it's like hitting something with a wet noodle. Archery range going up here, so Red doing well as well, but he's got units there, and he should be using them right now. That's something as well, keeping units at your base for no particular reason, or keeping units just built up. There's no particular reason to it. Yellow actually fighting this off quite well, hasn't lost a lot of his economy to it, but still his farms over here, he's lost a few villages, can't use these berries anymore, the stone's back, and well, he can't use his gold either. So they're doing quite well in the push over here. My only big concern is just that Orange is going to just go Castle Age and just destroy them with Knights. And then, of course, all this over here will be wasted. Yellow will be able to build up again. A Knight harass will come in on Red, then Blue. And then Yellow will be back to fighting Strength. And, of course, he's playing as Hun, so he's going to spam Cavalry Archers and just go destroy both their economies. That's just how I see it coming out. Of course, as well, Archer placement under towers. Really important to keep an eye on them like this, because if they do get killed off, that's a waste. Like we're seeing here, need to move them forward. But anyway, let's speed things up here, because nothing too really crazy happens. Villagers do kill off the tower eventually. And of course, this archer over here gets killed. And this one over here survives just while the spearman gets killed off quite quickly by a few villagers, I believe. Gets killed off by the other spear. Alright, there we go. So, thing is though, Orange just went castle. This is bad. Both still in feudal age, both not looking like they're going to advance at all. So, let's come back and have a look at the economy. Let's bring this up. Idle villagers 1, builders 2, farmers 11, lumberjacks 11, miners 4. So he has, what are we saying, 27 villages? 28, yeah, 29 villages there. Not the best. kind of set up to have at 20 minutes into the game. You should generally have a lot more. So that town center always needs to be constantly producing, and you can't be getting population blocked. It needs to always have villagers on the run, unless you're advancing, researching a technology. That's pretty much how it goes until you get to late imp with the 110 villages. And of course that's just like a roundabout way of saying it. Yellow definitely putting up a good fight though, but if we look over here, yes, there we go, playing as Teutons of course, getting some knights out, so he's going to be able to do some pretty big damage with them. They do have a few spears here, which is nice, but again, that town center is going to kill most of them off quite quickly, as well with the skirmishers. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Is a siege workshop here as well, which means they're not going to be able to defend from that too much either, because they're still in feudal age. They don't have the units to be able to do it. So, when attacking like this, if you're going to attack or flush in arena, in a 2v2, you both really need to pick a separate target, because you both need to be putting pressure on, or one person could just absolutely run away with the scores like they are here, and it's not good to have. So let's check the economy as well, let's check some placement things. Hasn't used his berries, which is interesting. Usually the berries are used up. Idle villager there. Lumber camp, could probably put another one over here. Maybe one over there as well. Lumber camp, it's not too bad, but of course you can rebuild it if you have the resources to. With 450 wood, of course, you can actually rebuild it there. Mining camp placement, not too bad. I might have put it there, just to be different, but still. Idle villager is still there and there. If we actually check, because I have my idle villager key, we can see there's still those two there. Idle villager key as well, very helpful when you're trying to do your economy. If you just randomly push it every now, it's really helpful. But still over here, Mangonel is moving forward, so that's going to be the end of this tower over here by the sound of it. Unless it kills it off first, and that could happen, but of course a villager could come up and repair it at any moment. Looks like we are seeing a bit more of a wall off here. Only thing is as well, if orange actually just went straight for red right now, just busted through here with that Mangonel or a battering ram or a petard or whatever he wanted to and ran knights in, it would be over for red. We know this. It would be over. They're lucky that he came up here and tried to help, and this is the reason I actually think they win the game. In this, I have no problem saying that, because we're not watching for the suspense, we're watching it to get better as players. But I reckon if Orange did belt down this gate or piece of wall over here and just ran in with a bunch of knights, killed off these villagers, killed off these guys over here, killed off these guys, or killed off these guys over here, kept them all in the town center and just kept that harassment, it would be over, because Blue wouldn't be able to keep up the offensive over here. Yellow would be free to rebuild, and Orange as well, putting on a hell of a lot of pressure. So there's something as well. Think about what you do in games, really important. But he is bailing his ally out here, which is really nice, even though Yellow's doing a great job defending. Could even pull these skirmishers back a bit, could have walled off this section over here with buildings or a bit of palisade or something. Garrison this town center a bit, and then these guys wouldn't have been able to do anything. But still, Blue over here, farm placement, not the best, but not the worst. Definitely starting to see another lumber camp now. Lots of idle villages. So the thing to really take from there is idle villages at the moment are extremely bad, and rebuild things. Focus on your economy a lot and don't get into the thinking area of I'm going to be the best micro the world has ever seen, because that seems to be the downfall of a lot of people. So watching this out, I think Orange should be about to get in. Yes, he's dropped his castle. And that's the thing as well, in Feudal Age, if they put up a castle, you have nothing you can do at all to beat it. Unless, of course, you run in with, like, man-at-arms, suicide them in, and just try and kill it off and pray he doesn't get murder holes or anything that can kill them. And all he's got is a castle. Still though, Red over here doing some good harassment, probably going to kill off most of these villagers, especially the way he's spread his units here, very smart, hopefully nothing will be able to walk through there. Castle Age now for our friend Tormentor. And 26 minutes in, that's not bad. He's been putting on a good amount of pressure, so it's not the worst it could have been. But still, it's going to be hard for him to try and keep up with this other player over here who's already in castle. And there we go, deleting this bit of wall off here so we can run in and save him. So now's when things really get hard, because you've both invested in killing off this one player here. When this one walks in and wipes all this out, that's everything you've put the first 27 minutes of the game into there, just gone. So that's a good way to look at it, but still, I wish I had Fog of War so bad right now. It really helps when doing this kind of thing. Lumber camp definitely needs to be rebuilt now. More villages on gold would be nice. Farm placement, again, could be closer. This one here could be across a little more. This one here could be across a little more. This one here could have gone back. That one there could have gone back. It's Just really interesting. There is actually a proper way to lay out your farms as well, actually, if you don't know. I believe it's posted on AOC Box, which is a site which is run by Cision, so you can check that out. Lots of good information on there, actually. There might be a link on my channel page, I'll have to check it out, so you can always check that out. And of course, I'm always updating that page as well, so you can always check that out. Always updating it with new, anyone putting on an Age of Empires videos always gets a spot there. And all the information I cram into there, which is nice. But still, I really think if this castle was dropped here and the knights ran in here with those mangonels, this game would be over already. But still, yellow over here doing quite well. Blue going up to Castle Age, nearly there, so let's speed things up again. But still, rebuilding lumber camps, economy management is the real thing here. If I had to say some things, the build order at the start, it slowed you down. If you did follow that just general one that everybody uses, you would have been in feudal by 10:30, 11 minutes, and that attack you did at the start would have been a lot more damaging. Just because the earlier you get that attack in there, the less chance they have to defend it. It's why people go for the 20 pop scouts, because they go up a little bit earlier, there won't be spears out yet. There's the way that's set at any rate. So a lumber camp definitely needs to be rebuilt. The economy definitely needs to be redone at this stage because, well, if you're going for knights, another barracks actually coming out here, especially as Goths. If you're going for a high infantry amount, you need a lot of gold, especially as Goths. You need gold and food should be the thing you're really working on. Lots of farms over here. Actually, I bet you he's not even at his economy. Oh, he is. He's here. He just doesn't have enough wood to rebuild those farms because he has too many farmers and not enough lumberjacks. That's an interesting one. Villager might get a kill over here, actually. Good job for him. I want a kill count. But still, knights are out for a red. And moving back to Tormentor, what did we have? So, economy is the big thing here, easily. You could have been up earlier, you could have been putting that harassment on earlier. You could have been producing a lot more units if you balanced your economy a lot better. And I know I say things like this and it sounds really obvious, but when you're playing it's really not. You need to go through the recs and watch them yourself. Like, I always say this, but the most valuable thing you can do as a player is be able to analyze your own recorded game. It just gives you so much extra advantage. But over here, like I said, Orange cleaning this up, so essentially getting rid of the first 30 minutes of the game here pretty easily. So now it's going to come down to a bit of a boom war, like we can see. Lots of spearmen being created. He knows that, well, Orange is going for a knight, big knight play. So yeah, that's fair enough. Right over here did suicide in and get one mangonel. So a few nice things here. Could actually go for monks as well if you really wanted to. That's always a play you can do. But of course, at this stage it just looks, especially playing as Goths, it's just easy to get a few spears out because they are cheap, they are effective, they are built, you know, they are built quickly. Adding onto the wall here, which is quite nice. This needs a lumber camp so badly right now. But still over here, if Orange decided to push right now, I think this game would be over, honestly. So that's an interesting little theory of mine there. If Orange did push straight away, I thought it would have been over. If he pushes now with everything, like mangonels, things like that, drops the siege workshop here, puts a battering ram out, I do think it could be pretty close to over again, because the knight count is definitely in his favour here. Might be a few injured ones. How are the upgrades looking, actually? Upgrades are the same, so no real biggie. Another barracks going up, going for the 2 barracks play. The infamous 2 barracks, 3 barracks play. But still over here, Orange doing a great job keeping on the pressure. But there we go, so Yellow actually just hit Castle Age, so he is a bit behind, but still he's recovering well now. He's on the same as Tormentor. Another lumber camp over here. Collecting those relics is always good, especially if you put your monastery inside your base, because over here it can get ransacked pretty easy and people can steal your relics. Keeping your monastery in your main base is normally a thing, especially on Arena, because relics are so important, you don't want to lose them. Looks like the spears are moving over here, so not the best player teamwork in the world, because he obviously like flared over here or something like that, and all these spears have decided to run across, and they're actually over here. Either that or he's just running in on his own to try and kill off some guys and some wolves, or secure this relic over here. House wall going down across here. Anything to say with this? Split your villages, because putting 2 villages on it doesn't make it build twice as fast. It's something like 25%. So it's always worth splitting your villages between buildings. Unless, of course, you need to get that one house up really quickly. And if we actually look at the scores now, Orange has taken the lead by like 800 points because he has been able to go unopposed all game here. Saying this, though, this could be a bad engagement here for Orange. There are more knights for Jimmy, but still, there are a lot of pikemen out. And I really keep jumping around the map, but I really want to focus on one player, because I know people are going to complain if I don't jump around the map. But still, idols. Hole in the wall over here. Should have just built another gate or killed this palisade off here. It doesn't take a lot. Because, of course, if you do get a bunch of light cavalry just running here, it could be over just really easily. Something you always need to watch out for in these kind of maps. Always the cavalry suicide is always a problem. So you've always got to be prepared for that, especially against a Hun player. Huns love to suicide light cavalry and hussars. Lots of cavalry archers coming out, though, for yellow, so again, could just run in here, kill off all the villagers, and then it would be over. And I'm actually really poking holes in you right now, and I hope I'm not offending you in any way, Tormentor, but you wanted this analysed, and this is my opinion. You're like Swiss cheese at the moment. So many holes I can just poke through. But still, lumber camp. Brilliant. 10 minutes ago, 19 minutes ago would have been great, but still, you got it there eventually, which is good. It means you do know you have to rebuild it at one stage. Castle is coming up on the frontier, barracks is coming up as well. Speeding things back up, because, well, it looks like Orange dealt with most... Well, Orange didn't deal with it, he got dealt with by the looks of it. So Red's going to push in over here and do a bit of damage as much as he can. Castle is coming up here on the defense, which should be quite good for him. But still, like we said here, cavalry archers, they just dominate villages. We know this from all the Hun v Huns on Arabia we've seen. They just absolutely destroy a villager, just economies. Actually running back with the knights here, again, not a good thing. He shouldn't have to do this if you plug this hole here. And if you ran through here and walled this really quickly, you probably could have got away with it, but still he needs his ally to bail him out, which again is taking that pressure off Orange here, which is not what we want. We want pressure back on Orange, because he's getting way too far ahead, or he was getting too far ahead until he lost all his knights. So yeah, I've plugged this here, but you're going to lose that villager, and it looks like this one will just get away. These knights as well. Actually, with some good micro and upgrades, which Yellow doesn't have, he could probably take out all of these knights if he was quick enough, especially the way they're moving around, the fact that some of them are quite injured, and they don't exactly have a lot of upgrades on them. But the cavalry archers are pretty bad too, honestly, so I don't think he would have been able to deal with this. So moving out of there was definitely the right choice. Red, at this point, seeing these cavalry archers go back, should sit here. Castle should be finished, then he should run back and keep pushing the pressure onto Orange. So, what are we looking at over here? It does have another town centre up. How many do we have? We have 3. 3 is good. 3 is the golden number. If you're booming, you really don't want less, of course, unless you're going for an all-in kind of play. Castle going up over here for a Jimmy. And now the rest of the game just plays out pretty well, because they've dealt with Orange's big fight. Yellow doesn't exactly have a great economy at the moment. He did really get a lot of pressure put on him with him. So they can kind of just push at this stage, and if they push hard enough, their opponent's just going to break. That's just how it goes at this stage. So while they're doing that, let's just have a look at this economy again. Farms, you can replace them, reseeding them, really important, especially conquerors. You can get auto reseed, and if you can't do that, it means you don't have enough lumberjacks. Simple as that. And it could also mean that you don't have enough upgrades, and it could also mean that you don't have enough, well, lumber camps, because your village is having to run everywhere. And over here we can see Knights, and Teutonic Knights are an extremely dangerous unit if you try and fight them. The only weakness is probably that they are extremely slow, so you can kill them off with archers quite well. But in a one-on-one fight, they kill pretty much everything, so you've got to be really smart about that. I think one can take on something like 5 pikemen and win. It's pretty crazy, especially once they get to elite. They are definitely, in my opinion, one of the strongest units in the game. And there we go. We did just have Orange hit the Imperial Age, which is a big risk right now, because if he gets a trebuchet out, this castle is pretty much dead. So, and then he can kind of just push through here with enough units, which he doesn't have, so he can't really do that. But if he could, and just kind of treb this base into submission. Looks like the cavalry archers over here in a little bit of a rut, not a lot they can do. So speeding things along again, and this should be over quite soon. Because Orange just does not have enough to defend himself against the onslaught, which is a red, and Yellow is building cavalry archers against someone who creates huskarls. So we pretty much know how this is going to end now. Trebuchet is out though, which is nice. It is in a good position actually. Cavalier as well, which is nice, but a few more units could have gone well. And here we're just going to see that Teutonic Knight Wall just abolish everything in their path. So playing quite well here, just definitely the micro here needs work. Over here we're about to actually see the big push. And again, we're going to see a bit of micro failure and a little bit of that and a few bad choices. But overall, it's nothing too bad. And see these Teutonic Knights here, still alive, still killing everything, like they do, but they will get killed off eventually over here. Tormentor and Jimmy going up to Imperial now, Yellow being the only one that's not Imperial. And this Huskarl army, of course, getting extremely big. And of course, it's a nice saying I like to remember, it's, well, not a saying so much, but if you let a Goth player boom, you're probably going to lose. That's probably one of the best things I've ever heard, because once they can kind of just keep pumping halberdiers, hand cannons, and Huskarls out, it's pretty much over, because you just cannot keep up with that unless you have a great economy of your own, and you just deal with it extremely well with lots of siege and things like that, and just get a great K to D ratio on them. That's why I love playing Goth so much back in the day, just because you could kind of just get a good economy and just steamroll people without trying. And over here looks like we're going to see the engagement. Huskarls, they don't have that extra armor upgrade, which they really need right now, because he can't get it. He actually has the +2 there. I thought he only had the +1, but still, that armor upgrade really helps. 70 HP on them. They are elite. Extra attack, really important upgrade for Huskarls, and especially when fighting archers, they do a lot of damage. On this side over here, red's getting pushed back slowly, but again, blue's about to absolutely destroy yellow over here. We're just running in with Huskarls and just picking off cavalry archers one at a time. Underneath the castle, of course. And actually seeing yellow resign there because he doesn't think he can do anything well. These Huskarls are just going to go through these cavalry archers pretty quickly. And then when it's 1v2, you know it's pretty much over. So we're going to see orange resign pretty quickly. Anyway, back to the economy. 148 population at 50 minutes into the game. It should be probably 170. So let's have a look over here quickly. Not a lot actually going on. But the Huskarls are going to run down and gut orange. But still, farm placement really needs a work. Just most over here as well. Need another gold camp there, and there would probably be really nice. Lumber camp, rebuild it to there. So it's really just economy management that you really need to focus on, as well as just making those good decisions. Like over here, if you went probably 1-1, you probably would have won it by about 30 minutes into the game. Because orange had nothing to defend himself, and yellow was pretty pinned down. GG from orange there, so we are giving up on that one. So, from this game, what did we get? If you gang up on one player, it's good. If you knock him out, that's absolutely great, and you can win the game right there. But if the other player gets up and really starts to do the damage, you're in trouble. That's just a general thing. Economy management, lure your boars all the way to the town centre, kill your sheep under the town centre, get a good build order so you can get up nice and quickly, because I didn't really see any bonuses from that build. Placement's always a big thing, resource balance, another big thing, and making sure you can actually produce units when you go on the aggressive, because I didn't actually see a lot of units out of blue when he actually pushed into yellow over here. I think there was a few archers and skirmishes and things, but nothing really big. He kind of just relied on the towers. In that case, should have got more stone, put up more towers in defense. And I'm actually starting to lose my voice in case you haven't told, and I don't know why that is. Might be because I've just been talking for like 20 minutes plus straight. Apart from that, upgrades really important. Villager count really important. Never stop your TC working. So yeah, I think that covers most things. Of course, this isn't in depth because I don't exactly have the time to run through it. Because, well, my upload's crap. When my upload gets better, I'll probably actually do an entire game in slow just so we can see absolutely everything. Alright, so there we go. Hope you got a few tips from that and other people watching. It shows really how important economy management is, and the difference between, like, 1.5 and 1.6, the difference there is definitely the economy. Definitely the economy and the build order used. So keep that in mind. That's just my opinion, though. It could be completely different. So thanks for watching, and I'll